Hello, yogis. Welcome to your chair yoga practice for today. Let's get started in our opening pose of our seated Shavasana or seated corpse pose. And we do that by just relaxing back into the chair, have the feet flat onto the floor. You can turn the palms of the hands to face up if you need a little bit more energy for your day, or palms of the hands face down if you need a little bit more calming, more grounding. And then you can close the eyes or have a soft gaze down towards the floor. And let's begin to tune into our bodies, to see how the body's doing. Tune into your mind, see how the mind's doing. And then tune into your heart and see how your heart's doing. And just making these observations without any judgment. And then let's start to build our Ujayi breath, our victorious breath. That deep belly way of breathing, where we breathe in and out through the nose if that's open and comfortable. Feel the belly rise and fall with the breath. And then add a soothing sound to your breath, as if you're fogging a mirror in front of you, even if the lips are together. So you'll hear the gentle ha sound as you breathe. You might feel a vibration along the throat. So we want to make the breath loud enough so that we can hear it and so that we can move to it. This is our Ujayi breath. We'll try to maintain it as best as we can throughout our practice. But if you need to breathe in a different way, please take a few rounds of breath in that way and then do the best that you can to come back to your Ujayi breath. Let's draw the palms of the hands together at the center of our chest, our heart center. And if you'd like to set an intention or a dedication for your practice, go ahead and do so at this time. Slowly blink the eyes open if they're closed. Namaste. Great to be with you today. Let's sit forward into our chair with that good posture in our seated mountain pose. Engage through those core muscles around the spine that support the spine. Draw the shoulders back and down over the hips. Head pulls back over the tailbone. Bottom of the chin stays parallel to the floor. Arms down by the side. Fingers spread nice and wide. Palms of the hands press forward. And then reach those fingertips as far down towards the floor as you can. So feel all the muscles that it takes to maintain this good posture. And even though we're sitting here, we are strengthening those muscles. Let's inhale, arms out and up or forward. Exhale, hands to the heart. So always remember to modify or skip anything that doesn't feel good. Make sure the joints stay happy. So if you do need to kind of modify one side or even skip, feel free to do so. So do what makes your body feel good and your mind and your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's change the direction of our circles. Inhale to lift. Exhale, open it out and stretch to a comfortable point. Inhale to lift. Exhale, open it out. So let's move a few more rounds on the rhythm of the breath, just like it's the first thing in the morning, which it is for me. Maybe it is for you. And you're just moving slow and in a way that feels good. All right, let's place those hands onto the thighs and move into our cow cat. So inhale, press the chest forward, shoulders back, maybe look up, maybe even stretch the front of the throat, and then exhale, round through the spine. Really get a nice stretch to the back of the body. Inhale, seated cow pose. Exhale, round seated cat. So let's move a few more rounds on the rhythm of your breath. And if your breath is a little bit different from mine, that's fine, as long as you're moving to your own rhythms. We never want to force the movement. We always want to move in a way that is purposeful and with control. Let's come back up to sit nice and tall in that seated mountain pose. Let's circle those arms out and up or forward, and then exhale, just a gentle side bend. And you can think of even stretching up. Inhale, come back. Exhale, over to the other side. So if we do have any shoulder concerns, feel free to keep those arms a little bit lower, or even fingertips on the shoulder is a nice option. So getting just an easy stretch along the sideways, and remember to keep those shoulders always moving away from those ears. So lots of space for the neck. I always think of as if, or I imagine that I have gills on the side of my neck, and I want to make sure there's lots of space for them to breathe. Last time on each side. And then let's come back to center, hands to the heart. Open those arms nice and wide and draw those arms out to the side, thumbs pointing up. So neutral position in the spine, tighten up through the core. And then let's draw those arms as far back as is comfortable for a stretch. And then draw those palms back towards each other. Keep those shoulders down. Inhale to open. Exhale, draw it in. One more time. Inhale, open, just warming up through the upper body. Exhale, draw it in. Hands back to the heart. And then let's scooch back into our chair so we can warm up through the legs. Let's lift one foot, get some movement. Just nice, easy warm up. Make sure those ankles are nice and warm for our standing poses. Change the direction of your foot circles. And then inhale to press it forward. Exhale, hug it in. So just move in a comfortable way for your comfortable range of motion where it still feels good. Always modifying if you need. Let's start to circle the knee a few times in one direction. Just to open up the hips. See how the hips doing today. Change the direction of your circle. All right, let's move over to the other side. Lift and a little turn to start. And we are holding our leg up a little bit with the support of our arms. Let's change the direction of those circles. So let's move those shoulders down. Make sure the shoulders don't come up by the ears. Let's inhale, press it forward. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, press it forward. Exhale, draw it in. And one more time. Now let's slowly circle. And then change the direction of your circle. All right, go ahead and place that foot back down. Let's straighten both legs, lift those toes, and just feel the work of the thigh, the hip flexor, the core. Make sure the core is tight. And find that Ujayi breath. Maybe arms extend forward, thumbs pointing up. You just feel all that energy and heat start to build in the body. Last round of breath here. And then release down. Pull yourself up so we can warm up through the core. Sit towards the front edge of the chair for our boat pose. So draw those inner legs together. You can lift the heels, hinge it back. So maintain that strong flat back. Maybe hands under the thigh. Maybe arms extend forward, and maybe just a tiny little turn, a little twist, but keep that chest lifted. So we're always thinking about extending the spine. Let's come back to center and over to the other side. Nice. And then come back to center. Let's pull ourselves up. Let's draw those arms out. Move the shoulders down. Just a little shift and hold here. So you'll feel the work of that sideways. Feel the gentle squeeze there. Just as if you're reaching for something. Find that Ujayi breath. And then come back to center over to the other side. Little work for that side waist, and then come back to center. Separate those feet wider than the hips, and then fold it forward. Forearms onto the thighs, a little roundness through the spine, maybe a little sway left and right. And then press into the hands, roll it on up. All right. So if you'd like to do the standing poses, please carefully come to stand behind your chair, and I will meet you there. For our standing poses, the chair is here for support if you need it. So please feel free to keep one or even both hands on the chair the entire time. Do only what is safe and comfortable. I'll give you the side view. So let's find ourselves in our standing mountain pose. So feet about hip bone distance apart, all 10 toes pointing as comfortably forward as you can. And then think about that tall posture. Make sure you're not locking out any of the joints. So if you have a tendency to hyperextend through those knees, just place a soft bend. And then on the next inhale, let's draw those arms up. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, fold it forward. And then inhale, a little bit higher than halfway. So elbows alongside the body, strong, flat back, squeeze through the buttocks. And then as you exhale, let's gently step it back to downward facing dog. So let's do a high downward facing dog to start. So a couple feet away from the chair, move those shoulders down, pointy parts of the elbows point down, and then bend those knees as much as you need to slowly hinge a little bit forward at the hips. So you'll feel some stretch along the back of the body, and then notice if you're overarching through the spine. So neutral position in the spine, really engage through those core muscles to support that neutral position. And then let's bend those knees, step forward so you can maintain that strong flat back so that chest stays lifted. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up a little bit higher than halfway. Exhale, step it back to your downward facing dog and breathe here. So maybe it's a little bit deeper. Remember, do what feels good. Think about stretching out the spine. Have that image. Stretching out the torso, shoulders move down. So remember those imaginary gills we have on the side of the neck. Make sure they're breathing and just lowering to a comfortable point. Make sure the head doesn't go lower than the arms. Bend those knees, lift the chest. You can press into the chair to step it forward with a strong flat back. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, a little bit higher than halfway, elbows alongside the body. Exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Your choice. Remember, if it feels better just to stay a little bit higher, you can. And then notice what the tailbone is doing. If it's lifting, think of lengthening the tailbone away from the head and finding that Ujayi breath. Bend those knees. Let's step it forward with a flat back. And then let's separate those feet a little bit wider than the hips. Bend those knees. Just slightly come onto forearms onto the top of the chair. So round through the spine. And then if it feels good to pedal through the legs, you can. Bending one knee and straightening the opposite leg. Just a little stretch, but do what feels good. Maybe stillness is in your cards for today. Come back to center. Let's roll it up the spine. So remember, when we roll up, we engage through those abdominals. We use our hands to press into the top of the chair with the elbows in. Head is the last thing to come up. Let's inhale to draw those arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's place the hands onto the chair. Right foot stays where it is. Left foot steps back for high crescent pose. So separate those feet about hip bone distance apart or a tiny bit wider for balance. All 10 toes pointing as comfortably forward as you can, and then bend that front knee to stack atop the ankle, track it towards the center of those toes. So stack and track. Back leg is straight without locking out the knee, and then upright the spine, shoulders over the hips. And then let's lift the arms forward or forward and up, shoulders move down. And just take a moment here to feel the power of the pose, to feel the strength of the pose. Find that Ujayi breath. Remember to feel the breath as best as you can in and out of the belly region. And then go ahead and release fingertips down. And then from here, we'll lift both heels as high as is comfortable. Take an inhale, exhale, gently release down. Remember, the space between the feet is up to you, the vertical space. Inhale to lift, any amount. Exhale, release down. One more time, inhale to lift. Exhale, release down. Take another inhale. As you exhale, hinge a little bit forward at the hips. So a relatively straight line from the shoulders to the hip to that back foot. And then start to straighten this front leg any amount to a comfortable, mild sensation of a stretch. And then go ahead and rebend. Make sure that knee does not go past the ankle. And then go ahead and straighten any amount. So let's do that one more full time. Bend the knee and then straighten and then go ahead and rebend. And then like we did from downward facing dog, maintain that strong flat back as you step it forward. Let's move over to the other side. So all 10 toes pointing as comfortably forward as you can. Feet are hip bone distance apart or a little bit wider for balance, but our hands will stay onto the chair, at least to start. Bend that front knee to stack it and track it, and then go ahead and upright the spine, shoulders over the hips, core engaged, head over tailbone. So you're welcome to stay with the hands onto the chair, or you can, if you feel balanced and safe, you can draw those arms forward or up. Find that Ujayi breath. And then go ahead and release fingertips down. Let's slowly lift those heels as high as you can. And you can bend through that back knee if you need to. And then go ahead and release. And then move to the rhythm of the breath. Lift those heels any amount and lower. Feel the work in those lower legs. One more time. All right. Take an inhale, exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Have those hands placed onto the chair. And then we'll slowly start to straighten that front leg any amount. And then exhale, you can rebend. So it could just be a little bit of movement. Find your mild sensation of a stretch. Remember, we never want to come into a painful way, especially when we're stretching. Inhale. And exhale. And then let's maintain that strong flat back as we step it forward. And then let's find our feet in our chair pose feet. So either feet together or feet hip bone distance apart. And then hinge forward at the hips. Draw your bottom back, bend through those knees. Make sure you can see all 10 toes. And then maybe 1 or 2 arms lift. And then feel the squeeze. So squeezing through the buttocks, through the legs, as much of those leg muscles as you can squeeze. Core is nice and tight. Lower back is lengthened. Take an inhale. Stay for the exhale. And then let's go ahead and stand up nice and tall. Keep that right foot where it is, and let's draw the left toes back. And then maybe the left toes stay on the floor as you find your balance. Maybe you'll hinge forward and lift the left foot off of the floor. Hands stay on the chair for balance. Try to keep those hips pointing forward and the shoulders pointing forward. So no twisting in the body. And then let's upright. Over to the other side, right toes, step back. Maybe stay here if you feel some wiggles, but remember, only do what is safe and comfortable. Or maybe you're hinging a little bit forward. Keep those hips even. So if you do lift those back toes off of the floor, point them down. That'll help to keep those hips even. Nice. And then let's slowly upright. Let's go into our Warrior Two series of poses. So I'll face you now and go ahead and separate those feet. All 10 toes pointing forward. Have a soft bend in those knees. Let's take an inhale. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. So notice my elbows are just drawing alongside the body, lowering to a comfortable stretch. Inhale, press into the hands to rise up. So maintain that flat back the whole time. Exhale, hinge it forward. Any amount, just warming up through the legs. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, release. Inhale, press it up. Let's come into Warrior Two. Lift one heel, turn those toes and knee out to the side, and then bend to stack and track. Back toes slightly in, but my hips and my chest and my shoulders are pointing towards the chair as best as you can. So really make sure that lead knee stays right where it is, tracking towards the center of those toes. That's for knee health. And then maybe 1 or 2 arms lift, but both shoulders move down. So arms extending out, so lots of energy in the arms and the muscles of the upper back. Inhale, we'll straighten the lead leg. And then exhale, rebend. Make sure it's tracking towards the center of those toes and doesn't go past the ankle. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, rebend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, rebend. Let's relax this back arm down or on the chair. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, come back. 2 more times. Base of the body stays the same. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, come back. And one last time. Exhale, come back. And then let's straighten that lead leg. Turn all 10 toes to point forward. Our neutral wide leg stance. Let's go over to the other side. So other toes, other knee points out to the side. Bend that lead knee to stack it and track it towards the center of those toes. Back toes come in just slightly. That's just for the comfort for the hips, and then we'll turn the chest, the shoulders, as much of the hips as we can towards the chair. Make sure that front knee stays right where it is. And then let's open up one or two arms or no arms. So feel the strength of those muscles of the upper back. And then let's start. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, rebend, making sure that knee tracks towards the center of those toes. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, rebend. Feel the work of that outer leg. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, rebend. And then let's flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse to your comfortable point. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, release. One last time. Exhale, release. And then let's come back to center. Let's go back to that first side. So moving side to side so our legs don't get too fatigued. Find warrior two. And then go ahead and straighten both legs. Engage to those thighs. Let's come into triangle pose. So hips draw back as you reach forward and up. Get lots of length in the sideways. And when you can no longer reach forward and up, we'll just change the arms. Remember that top arm can be wherever is comfortable. If it's more comfortable, fingertips on the shoulders, go ahead and leave it there. So triangle pose, lots of stretch, but also lots of strength work in this pose. One more breath. And then start to bend through that front knee, press into the heel to slowly upright, release down. Let's pass through center and over to the other side. So find warrior two first. Find that openness of the chest. Keep that openness of the chest as you straighten the front leg. Both legs are now straight. Draw the hips back and up. Reach forward and up. I think of where the wall and the ceiling meet. And when you can no longer reach, we'll just change the arms. Remember, bottom hand can be on the chair for a little bit more support if you need, but you should feel some good side core work in this top side waist. Breathe. Look wherever feels good. Find that Ujayi breath. Nice. And then let's slowly bend through the knee, that lead knee to upright. And then relax, arms down. Turn all 10 toes to point forward, and then heel toe those feet together. I'm just going to move my chair to the side so we can come into our tree pose, our balance pose. Always want to do balance pose every day if you can, as long as you're doing it safely, so we can strengthen not only our bodies, but help to improve our balance. So let's lift one heel, open it up so you can place the heel on the inside of the ankle very comfortably. Stand up nice and tall, and then maybe a hand stays on the chair, or maybe hands to the heart, or maybe arms extend out or up. Whatever feels good. Imagine yourself as a tall, strong pine tree. Remember, we just want to feel little wiggles and wobbles, but we do want to stay upright. But if you happen to come out, no problem. That means you're really challenging yourself. And we need to challenge ourselves in order to improve. Let's slowly come down, little shake out over to the other side. Lift, open that knee out, heel on the inside of the ankle. You can challenge yourself here by placing more of the foot towards the ankle, or you can challenge yourself with the hands off the chair or hovering, or maybe even arms extend out. So find what works best for you on this side. Remember, the sides of the body are different. And then think of that tall pine tree, or whatever your tree of choice is. Maybe it's a palm tree. Maybe it's a little swaying in the wind. Find that Ujayi breath. Think of strong or strength, and then slowly come on down. Little shake out. I'm going to give you the side view. Let's come into our pyramid pose. Right foot stays where it is. Left foot steps back just about a foot. Heels of the feet about hip bone distance apart. Left toes angled to the outside of the chair. Both legs relatively straight. Hinge it forward until you find your mild sensation of a stretch. So you can adjust depending how open you are in the legs, and breathe here. So try to maintain that strong flat back. So we're not rounding through the spine. When we do that, we immediately take the stretch out of the legs. Nice. A nice stretch for the back of the legs. And then we'll press our way up, bend through those knees, step it forward, switch over to the other side for pyramid pose. Remember, back toes angle to the outside of the chair. Straighten both legs. Hinge forward at the hips. until you find mild sensation only. All right, one more full round of our Ujayi breath here. And then let's bend through those knees and slowly come on up. All right. Let's now carefully have a seat in our chair for our grounding poses. So from a standing point, we did a nice stretch for the back of the legs. So we'll just get a nice stretch for those hips. One of the great things about yoga is that when you're standing in a pose, you're also getting some stretch, some flexibility work while you're working on strength. So let's relax it back into our chair and then hug the knee into the chest. So option one, you can stay here, drawing the knee as high as is comfortable. Option two, only if this is safe and comfortable on the joints, you can cross the ankle over the thigh above the knee, flex through the foot, so toes up to the knee the whole time, and then lean it back. And breathing here. So find what option works best for you that keeps your joints happy. Remember option one, hug it in. Option two, remember pain-free. This is a version of our thread the needle, a relaxed thread the needle. So we're just relaxing back into our chair. Maybe you're even opening up through the chest if that feels good, but just find what works best for your body. And then let's slowly come out over to the other side. Option one, hug it in and hang out here. Option two, cross ankle over the thigh above the knee, flex to the foot, and hang out here. You can even keep your hand on the ankle. Just make sure that you're engaging through the foot, so toes up to the knee. Maybe stay here, maybe open it up, maybe hands behind the head, as long as you keep those shoulders down. So find what works best for you. Remember, option one stays here, or option two is here. Find just a nice, easy stretch. All right. And then let's slowly release. So we're still leaning back into the chair just to give some support for the spine. Let's open up those arms, maybe a little lean back. Find that Ujayi breath. And then let's come on up, interlace those fingers, press those palms forward, move the shoulders down. Just a nice stretch for those arms and the hands. Sometimes the hands don't get enough stretch. Draw it back towards you. Change the crossing of the fingers and move it down. Move those shoulders down. And then go ahead, release, draw the feet and the knees together, fish pose, point those toes down, maybe lean it back, maybe hands on the legs of the seat of the chair. My back just cracked, but it felt good. And then go ahead and come back up. All right. Any other little movements or stretches that feel good, go ahead and take it. And then when you're ready, let's come into our final pose of our seated Shavasana. Palms of the hands to face up for energy. Palms down for more grounding. You can close the eyes or have a soft gaze down. Let's take an inhale together. Exhale out the mouth. And enjoy these next couple minutes of peace. And slowly begin to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Let's draw the palms of the hands together at your heart to recall the intention or dedication you set at the beginning of your practice. And let's place the hands, stack them atop the heart to take a moment to feel gratitude to yourself for coming to your practice. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. As always, it is a privilege and a joy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.